Firstly, welcome to T.P.C. Thought Process Conditioning. T.P.C. as a cognitive program has been designed firstly for you to become, which is most important, the control center of your mind. Because once you're the control center of your mind, you then are the control center of your emotions, your moods, then your behavior. Ultimately, your whole life is predicated on you becoming the control center of your mind. The T.P.C. morning mindset reset, fantastic. Tell you what, if you want, one of the best ways to start your day is conditioning your mind. Either your mind is going to condition, your mind is either conditioning you or you are conditioning it. And it's sad that a lot of people don't realize that their life pattern is a direct reflection of their thought patterns, their TMI patterns. But T.P.C. Deep State, to become familiar with, a great place to quiet your mind and your TMIs and learn to be more in the now. And then T.P.C. guided imagery, which is, it will help you to create the life you want. You have to create the images that are congruent with the life you want. Why? Because everything that becomes materialized firstly becomes visualized, because what you visualize, you are going to materialize. So T.P.C. guided imagery, awesome. T.P.C. anchoring as well. So when you get a good idea, capture that image, like those dream catchers they have on the doors. Very similar to that. T.P.C. anchoring will teach you how to, when you get a good idea, capture that image and sync that image within your mind to be conditioned, so that image now becomes what you're going to feel, because the images that you feel the most, the images that you perceive the most, you're going to feel the most. And what deepens the impression of a mental image is the consistent perception of that mental image. Okay, so you've got T.P.C. 2D, T.P.C. guided imagery, T.P.C. deep state, T.P.C. anchoring. So starting the day with those cognitive tools, honestly, fantastic. You'll realize that once you know that you control it all, that means you're in the factory, you're in the lolly factory, because what unfortunately ruins people's lives is TMIs that are all running on autopilot, that are becoming their TMI patterns, that is now determining their life pattern. And so happiness simply is an image perceived. And it's the opposite of whatever happiness is or sadness. That's now an image simply that's perceived. And so to some degree, the formula of how TMIs begin and end are a system that I call T.P.C. 4P, which is thoughts and mental images that pop into your mind, and the principle of neuroscience is that, the principle of neuroscience is that thoughts and mental images that sync in the mind, link in the mind, and wire and fire in the mind. Don't forget, your brain is matter, made up of billions of neurons and synaptic connections. And a neuron is really a specialized cell that sends information throughout the brain. So the brain is physicality, is matter, and the mind really is consciousness and awareness. And firstly, as awareness and consciousness, to some degree, is like your mind. And so the mind is in the unseen world, and the brain is obviously in the physical and the seen world. And people don't realize that everything firstly begins in the unseen world. Everything. Your happiness first begins in the unseen world in the form of mental imagery, because ultimately all is mental imagery. So T.P.C. 4P is thoughts and mental images that pop into your mind. They begin to process in your mind. And the meaning of the word process means a series of actions taken in order to come to a particular end. Ultimately, that's the goal of thoughts and mental images. Once they pop into your mind, they want to come to fruition. So the first P is process. TMI is processing in your mind. Second P is perception. And your perception can be described as, some would say, your reality. But a perception based on TPC as a T.P.C. cognitive program is really images that are held within your awareness at that particular time. The reason why your perception can change, because mental images change. So that's where your perception. So what you perceive, you're going to project. And if you're around a group of people and they're all perceiving or processing images that are positive, they go, oh, I feel good in this group of people. Why? Because the collective imagery is projected. All right, the collective, that's why it's good to be in T.P.C workshops and T.P.C morning mindset resets, because you feel great, because everyone is what I call image banking. Image banking is when they're building images that are positive, powerful, and those images that are processed in the mind becomes a perception as a group collective, and those images are all projected, and that's why I feel great, because we're collectively as a group developing positive images. And on the flip side, on the negative side, you go into a group of people and you feel, oh, it's like a negative place to be, because that's what's processing in their mind is negative images. So project. So images pop into your mind, process, become your perception of what you're going to project. And the model of quantum physics, Einstein, one of my favorite quotes from him is that the field is the sole governing agent of the particle. So what that means is once the images are projected from you, and if they reach the field, the quantum field, that's when they become materialized. I realized it's quite simple. First of all, everything begins in your mind. Everything. Your life's journey. What you're going to feel, the person you're going to become, what you're going to achieve. All firstly begins in your mind. Secondly, in the form of mental imagery. And T.P.C will teach you, as becoming the control center of your mind, is to choose the images you want by utilizing the T.P.C tools in order to condition your mind for success. Because as I said, either you're conditioning your mind or your mind is conditioning you. And what deepens the impression of a mental image is the consistent perception of that mental image, because what you image the most, you're going to feel the most. In other words, what you think about, you're going to bring about. So it all begins in the mind in the form of mental imagery. And it's thirdly, the key with T.P.C thought process conditioning is teaching you firstly to condition your mind for success. That should be second, but obviously to become the control center of your mind, because once you become the control center of your mind, you now become the control center of your life. So I look forward to helping you and catching up with you as your T.P.C mindset coach, T.P.C image coach. Love you, bless you, and I wish you much success now and forever. Take care.